of extreme judgments that he once brought, and will get. He's saying, if I did it here, and I did it here, and I did it here, I'm going to do it again. This is what's going to happen to the ungodly. Now, there's a link and a progression, as you can see, and there's no intention to preach here, but man, I get fired up with this.
Amen.
Wow.
Yes, amen.
And you didn't come to hear me preach, but you can see the progression from the angels to the ancient city. You have the reality of Noah, Genesis chapter 6. You're all aware of the fact that the reason why God had to come to the place of destroying the earth is because every thought and intent of man's mind and heart was only evil continually. But the context is having to do with sexual immoralities. The twistedness that come out of it. Obviously, you have that issue of the angels having integrated and involved with human beings, and so that there's something there that, you know, is of even a more devastating nature as well. But then we get to the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, so there's a direct correlation between the sexual immorality and homosexuality. And he goes on to then tie it into this guy Lot, verse 7. And if he rescued Lot, a righteous man who was distressed by the depraved conduct of the lawless, for that righteous man living among them day after day. Who was he living among? The story of Lot, as you know, and the burning of Sodom and Gomorrah is one of the most unusual stories in the Bible. In fact, it's one that most preachers will not preach on, because it's strange. We have to understand it. It's describing a culture and a way of life that most of us have not yet viewed or seen. But I want to tell you, Sodom and Gomorrah are here. Those cities have been revived. They are alive today, okay? You have that story where Lot has two male visitors come to his house, and the homosexual community comes to his house banging on the door. They want to rape and molest these men. It's a scene that you and I are going, oh my goodness, what's going on here? And of course, what transpires, we can barely understand. We can barely understand how you trade out your daughters for these men, and then what the level of abuse. And I mean, it's something in Scripture that we don't even want to take a look at, right? But look at what it says. It says the things he saw, he was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless deeds he saw and heard. If it is so, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to hold unrighteous for the unrighteous for punishment on the day of judgment. This is especially true of those who follow the corrupt desire of the flesh and despise authority. I want to just close this little section and centering down with asking you, how is your soul? Do you know, who knows what the King James word is for that word torment? Vexed. I like that word. It's not what I use, but I like that word. Vexed. How's your soul? Does this stuff torment you? Or are you starting to get used to it? Now see, this is the whole issue. Is that they're so normalizing this stuff and so putting it in front of us and those that we lead that people are no longer getting vexed. People are no longer tormented inside. You know, I was sitting watching the TV just the other night, and I saw a preview for one of the new hit shows. And in the preview, it shows two boys embracing and kissing. In the preview. You and I know that you can hardly watch a single TV program or a movie that doesn't somehow highlight, bring into play a transgender, a homosexual, a gay, a lesbian in some way. Put them out there. They're adorable, they're attractive, they're personable, they're likable, they're all this kind of thing, right? So we have this issue of that, and then the other side of it is that because we want to have love for, his righteous soul was tormented. May God torment you and I. May our souls be vexed by what's going on. And at the same time, may we have this strange capacity to be totally vexed and yet open-hearted. And genuinely so. I would actually stand against my congregation for standing at the door in any way, shape, or form, offending or being unkind or uncaring to a gay, lesbian, or transgender coming in our door. It's a strange tension, friends, and it's hard to do because the one side of us is torn in one way and the other side of us is torn in another. What are you seeing and hearing today? Are you seeing and hearing what I'm seeing and hearing? Well, let me just bring you two quick things, and then we're going to get to the accord. So a week ago, Judy and I, and perhaps some of you, were downtown at in Vancouver at the rally. And of course, I would imagine that most of you are aware that that happened in Vancouver. It happened on the island. Laura Lynn and Carrie, these two gallant women, were leading these things. So I actually happened to take my associate over, and we went into the protester camp, and I got to hear the vice president of the NDP party. Now, I want you to let that sink in. The vice president of the NDP party here in BC was leading the protest. In a matter of less than 5 minutes, he called us, those of us who would be on that other side, assholes, at least 10 to 15, maybe 20 times, just repeatedly. Okay? He said we were liars. He said we were that we had been the Supreme Court of Canada had verified that we are bigots. He made all these outlandish things. He said our children should be taken from us. Now, I want to ask you, friends, if I would have been on the microphone on the other group there, and I would have said assholes one time. Yeah. One time. If I would have said they've lied, not liars, they've lied, how far and wide do you think that would have gone? If I would have said their children ought to be taken, I would have probably been killed that day, right? I mean, boom, right? So this is letting us know how deeply the decks are stacked against us, okay? How significant. I personally believe, and you may not want to agree, and that's fine, okay? I'm trying very hard not to sensationalize, nor to exaggerate. Okay, I'm trying really hard not to do those things because there's a lot of information out there that could lend one to doing that. But I am personally, I'm 61 years old now. I've been around for a little while. I'm getting to where I got a little credibility in the age factor. I'm personally convinced that if we don't stand now, this could possibly be our last chance to stand. And part of the reason why I say that, friends, is that there's a group, once again, I just presented to a group this size, maybe a little less than this last week. And in that group, there was one man that was under 40 years old. And I'm seeing that we got a few that are here that are under, I'm putting you guys under 40. Yeah, quite under 40. Okay. And you see they've collected together here. They've self-identified. We're the young people. But here's the issue. Here's the grave concern I have. Largely, leaders 40 and under are really struggling to stand in this issue. They see it as a justice issue, not as a truth issue.
Wow.
And so they see that they're actually not standing, they're supporting this as a justice thing. So, man, I'll tell you, this is great. Here's the last little piece that I want you to see. This just came out, I think, this last week, to give you an idea of so that's Morgan down. I'm not even going to waste time with that. But this is from CNN.
California is looking to pass a bill that could ban the sale of Christian books that address issues of homosexuality and transgenderism. Proceedings to pass the law are taking place quickly in the state, and the bill could pass in the California Senate as soon as late May. Joining us now to talk more about this is Ann Pauk. She is the executive director of Restored Hope Network, which oversees about 13 ministries in California that help people overcome same-sex attraction.
That's all I wanted you to hear. That is really late breaking news that is happening all over the place today. To where, if you take that to where it's going, the ban of selling any literature in California that opposes homosexuality or transgenderism, where does that actually end up?
Bible.
You can't sell the Bible.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And we know that in Canada, years ago, Bill C-38 actually deemed the Bible hate literature.
Yeah.
So again, the decks are getting stacked further and further, quicker and quicker, and things that we need to be very, very aware of. This is a picture of a number of the people that pastors and leaders that were involved in putting together and shaping this document in front of you here for us in Canada. And some of the signatures there, the early leaders, Darren Latham from Broadway Church, Pastor Sam Owusu, have just signed on. They were part of the process, but it's taken them a little longer to sign on. Pastor Barry Buzz has been around forever. All these names are great, great leaders in the region. There are additional pastors and leaders. The pastor of this church, Pastor Michael Boulette, and others even in the room here today that I won't go through. But just wanting to let you know that there are actually over 115 pastors and Christian leaders who have already signed on in just a little more than a month. So we're very encouraged, and yet well, I'll tell you where we're going with this after we've gone through it. So now if you want to pull out the document there, you all should have a copy of it. It's on the table in front of you. I'm going to quickly read through it, then we're going to take some time for questions, feedback, and input. So we're wanting you to know that what is this actually about? What are we actually, why did we decide to do this? The West Coast Christian Court is a document designed to unify like-minded leaders and churches to form a coalition from which a united stand can be mounted. It is an agreement to act together in love with both our words and actions. While it is not intended to be a comprehensive doctrinal statement, it is intended to be a statement of faith concerning the authority of Scripture on gender identity and human sexuality. Who is it for? The target audience that we're looking to reach here with this document is first and foremost traditional, biblically based evangelical leaders and churches. Why are we doing it? Well, we're doing it to sort of try and reestablish a bit of a plumb line of what it means to be an evangelical Christian today. Some of you, because I'm out here in Abbey, I know that not all of you were able to be involved in the Festival of Hope last year in March, but, you know, for those of us who were, I was on the committee, and a few of us that are involved with this were on the committee to bring Franklin to town, and we had 35 evangelical, quote, evangelical leaders rise up to say, we don't